Welcome to PrepsNet Coach Speak with Chelsea Hornets head soccer coach Lee Miller. Here's your host, Aubrey Johnson.
We're on the campus of Chelsea High School here to speak with boys soccer coach Lee Miller. Welcome in, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, glad to be here. So tell us a little bit about your background as a head coach and also about this program in general.
So I've been here 18 years.
Wow.
I think this is my 24th year overall of teaching and coaching.
Right.
And I was actually a field goal kicker in college.
Gotcha.
But I played soccer my whole childhood growing up.
Okay.
And when I got out of college, I went to Irwin High School.
Okay.
Told them I wanted to help with the soccer program, and they said, "Oh, well, congratulations, you're the new head coach." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, great."
There you go.
So that kicked things off, and
Right.
I was at Hewitt Trussville for a couple of years. Moved to Florida, coached down there, and then the opportunity in 2007-08, the 07-08 school year, came that I could come to Chelsea, and I was excited to do it. I knew this was going to be a place where a lot of talent would be. This is kind of a hotbed of talent in this area of the state, and I've been here ever since. Program's been really great. We went to the Final Four in 2011.
Nice.
Thought we would be back by now, but we haven't made it back. But
Okay.
we're on an uptick right now. Had a really great season last year. We were in an area with Oak Mountain, who won. They've won 30-something games in a row now.
Tough program. Yeah.
And so we met them in the quarterfinals. They were number one. We were number two. We kind of pushed them to the limit, and they, in the end, did what championship teams do, and they scored and beat us and went on to win the state title.
Gotcha.
But we're back down to 6A this year.
Yep.
Still in a tough area, and we've had a good start, and so here we are.
Okay, great, excellent. So you guys have played 7 games so far. You're 6-1, fantastic start. That one loss you mentioned, Oak Mountain, that was the one that got you.
Right.
That's kind of amazing that you've got that good of a start. Tell us about some of the tournaments and the games that you've played so far.
So we opened up. We had an away game at Mortimer Jordan that we won, and then we beat Gadsden City, which we lost 4 games last season.
Okay.
3 of them were to Oak Mountain, and the other was Gadsden City.
Wow.
So we're thankfully were able to get the win over them this year. And then after that, we went to the Lakeshore Shootout, which is one of the oldest high school soccer tournaments in the state. And of course, they put us in the Platinum Division, which is fine. That's the top division.
Right.
So we were in there with Oak Mountain, Huntsville, and Grissom, which are blue blood programs that have had a lot of success. And thankfully we were able to beat Huntsville and Grissom in 2 tight games.
Good deal.
3-2 on both of those games, and of course we lost to Oak Mountain. So we ended up coming in second in that tournament, which I thought was a really good showing considering that Oak Mountain's tough. And then we this past weekend, we played in our own tournament that we've created called the Melrose Cup.
Okay.
And that's a 4-team round robin tournament. And so we won the games in that.
Nice.
A tough Leeds team beat Westminster Oak Mountain, and we ended up keeping our trophy. And so we've had a good start. So we're trying to navigate through and get ready for bigger games down the line.
Right. Good deal. So even having such a great start, you've actually incurred some injuries along the way. Tell us a little bit about the guys and where the situation is now.
Yeah. So we lost a senior before the season even started. Messes me up. Drew Gottlieb. Had to have surgery, so he's out. Won't get him back.
Okay.
The good news, the rest of the injuries will get them back, but right now we're without them.
Right.
We got a 3-time All-State performer, junior Luke Miller. 3 days before the first game, got hurt in practice, avulsion fracture on his ankle. He actually got cleared yesterday. Not sure if he's really ready to play for tomorrow's game.
Right.
But I think next week we'll have him back, which is good because he's a big performer. Parker Dean has scored 7 goals in 5 games for us up top as a striker, and really set for a breakout season.
Yeah, it sounds
and
like
he sprained his ankle the other day.
Of course.
And but I don't think he'll be out as long as Luke was, and so I think we should get him back maybe in a week or so.
Good.
And so that's good because our at the end of next week is our first area game.
Yeah.
Second game of the season, Campbell Jenkins broke his wrist, and but he's got a hard cast on now, so we'll wrap him up, and he's ready to go. Just maybe a little out of shape, but
Okay.
And then our starting goalkeeper Andrew Perkey got a concussion the other day, and so he's in concussion protocol.
Coach, that's quite a list.
So yeah, so we're
Man.
But the good news is we're still being successful without some of those guys. Some of those guys have been out a while, and even Parker, who before he got hurt, he had a stomach bug for one game.
Yeah.
And we moved the next guy in, and we the kid that started in his place scored the go-ahead goal against Grissom to help us win that game. And so we kind of have been it's kind of cliche to say that next man up mentality.
Right.
But that's kind of how we've taken it, and we feel really good about our depth. I mean, our guys are good quality players. They're well-trained club kids. Our JV last year was very, very good.
Nice.
Won 16 games, I think, and only lost 2. And so a lot of those kids from that JV are now, out the bench for the varsity who are even starters, and they're ready to step in and take their opportunity,
But being that good, you can play next man up and put that guy in and feel confident that he's going to do his job.
Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to the battles when these guys do come back.
Right.
It's going to make it tough for me to say, hey, the kid's playing so well, how do I get him off the field? But yet here's this other kid who's also really good. So it's a great problem to have. It's a problem
it is.
I've spent my career dreaming of, and now
now you got it, and it is kind of an issue, but you'll work through it.
100%. And I think the kids are really dialed in and focused on team before individual, and let's see how far we can take this thing. And got a little taste of it going to the quarterfinals last year. 10 minutes to go. We're 1-1 with Oak Mountain, thinking, man, we could steal this thing and go win a 7A title. It didn't happen, but I think the hunger is there, and you can kind of see that they know that we have a chance to do some good things, but with some really good teams in our way, and we're going to have to deal with that.
Sounds like you got a tough schedule.
We do, 100%.
Okay.
There's no doubt about that.
All right. Well, let's talk about games going forward here.
Sure.
You've got Prattville tomorrow, and then you follow that up with Fultondale on Monday. Tell us what you expect to see from those two teams.
So Prattville's actually had a fantastic start themselves. I think they're 7-1. Their only loss is also to Oak Mountain. And of course, I've done some scouting on them. We got some film and talked to the Oak Mountain coach, and everybody has really good things to say about them. And we played them last year down there, and it was 1-1 with about 10 minutes left. And I think we punched 2 in and beat them 3-1.
Right.
But from that, I knew they would be good. But now seeing what they're doing this year, they're scary. They're fast, physical, athletic.
Sure.
They're going to come ready to play. And I think we've beaten them in a couple of tight games the last few times out.
Yeah.
And so, I think they feel like, hey, we can get them now, and and maybe they can. So we're going to have to put our best foot forward, especially with these injuries. We're going to have to be on top of our game to get a win tomorrow against Prattville.
Right.
Fultondale on Monday is senior night for us.
Oh, wow.
So we will, we kind of, it's kind of been a trend to go towards putting your senior night early. And, what makes you nervous about late with, soccer weather in the spring is if you leave it for that last game, like most sports normally would, if it gets rained out and you can't make it up, then you lose your senior night. So we're going to do it early when we know the weather's going to be good and we think we can get it in. So, Fultondale's tough. They'll be a tough team, but it's a game we expect to win, and we think we can.
Good.
And we'll do that, and that'll be our last pre-area match, and then after that we start area play.
Right. You mentioned area play, so Spain Park is up after that on the 7th.
Sure.
And then you have Gardendale on the 11th. Talk to us about that all-important area game against Spain Park.
Yeah, so our area is Pelham, Briarwood, and Spain Park.
Okay.
And the crazy thing is, all 4 of us, only 2 can make the playoffs.
Right.
And all 4 of us were in the top 7 preseason.
Oh.
In the state. So you got 2 preseason top 7 teams that will not make it. So we're trying to not be one of those. You know. So Spain Park is tough. I mean, we've gotten the better of them the last few years. They've been in our area. They came down to 6A with us this year. And I remember a couple of years ago we beat them pretty badly at home, and then we had to beat them to make the playoffs, and it went to overtime.
Right.
And we scored in overtime to beat them to get in the playoffs. So no matter what anybody says or what kind of ranking or anything like that, you never take it for granted that you're going to beat a team like Spain Park, who's traditionally a really good program, and they will be again. They got a lot of seniors this year, so they're feeling like, hey, we got a chance to do something. So
right, fantastic. So, Coach, that's our show. We appreciate your time as always, and we'll be back in 2 weeks. Join us in 2 weeks for another edition of Chelsea Coach Speak.